May 20th, the Queen returns home. Katie Taylor goes back to Ireland for the first time at the Free Arena to take on Undisputed super lightweight champion Chantelle Cameron. Katie Taylor's like, you know what, we're going up to 140 pounds and taking on the number one. What do you make of this? It was supposed to be Amanda Serrano, that's the one, right? It was supposed to be that. It looked like we weren't gonna get a fight. Katie was like, no. I want Chantelle Cameron at her weight class. Love it.
It's crazy because she's such a big star. And it's been such a long time since she boxed. She's never boxed in Ireland as a professional. But that any name, anyone would have sold out. Yeah. That's the thing. But you know, has Katie Taylor ever taken an easy fight? I can't think of one. I can't. You know, even
there's no gimmies in between her bigger fights.
No, even even the fights where no one really knows who they are. They're still 19-0, 12-0, whatever. They're still competitive on paper fights. So she's been a trailblazer and showing, listen, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
We know how good Katie is. Let's focus, if we can, for a couple minutes on Chantelle Cameron. There'll be some tuning in that maybe don't know too much about Chantelle. Obviously, undisputed at 140, coming off that good win against Jessica McCaskill, tough, gritty win. How good is Chantelle Cameron? When you look at sort of the top 10 female boxers, where does she kind of rank in that?
Yeah, well, up until the McCaskill fight, I wasn't sure. She looked good, and she looked strong and had a good jab, but there was always, let's see her up against someone who's decent, because she hadn't really boxed anyone of any real quality. Yeah. So the McCaskill fight was a real gutsy move, and it seemed like that sort of move where you go, well, she's boxing Jessica McCaskill. She does well. She wins great. She does well. You almost can't lose.
Yeah, McCaskill, who is undisputed at 147.
Yeah. But she boxed so well. I think that the discipline she showed in that fight, and technically, surprised me how good she was with the jab. The feet were in and out. Dare I say it, Katie Taylor-esque with the footwork and not with the feet. Because someone like McCaskill, you hold your feet. She gets you. When she starts swinging those shots from an awkward angles, you can't defend against that. But if you keep it in and out with the feet, don't allow it to close the distance. Always creating space after you're throwing your shots. Then you can have success, and Katie Taylor's made a career out of that, and that's what Chantelle Cameron did in her last fight, her biggest fight. What you want to say? Anyone in the biggest fight of their career, you give your best performance, and she did that in her last fight, Chantelle Cameron. She boxed so well, and I mean you got to give the corner some credit, keeping her calm. The instructions were brilliant, nothing too elaborate, nothing too flash. Hands high, well beyond the jab. If that lands, then you throw. If that don't land, don't throw. And they keep the feet constantly moving, hold them enough for power, not enough to get caught. So she showed an intelligence, and more importantly, that structure and that concentration levels to stick to the plan. And that abodes so well in this fight. Yeah,
that team, Jamie Moore, Nigel Travis, the bond is there now, isn't it? And I think we're starting to see some of that in her performances. 140 pounds. Look, Katie's been there before against Christina Linodatu. It wasn't her best performance. She's obviously the queen of 135 pounds. I know some might be saying it's only 5 pounds, but you do get those fighters that are just, that's their weight class. Yeah. I always used to speak to Carl Froch about this. Why not go up to 175? It's like 168 is perfect for me. Could this jump just be a bit too much for her? Like 135 is perfect for Katie.
It could be, yeah. I think, because let's bear in mind, Chantelle Cameron's a big.
Yeah.
140. So I think that's the issue there. There's going to be a big size advantage, come fight night. Not so much of the weigh-in, of course. And I think the way and the most important here is Chantelle Cameron. You've got to give Jamie Moore his credit there. Had a word with her. They had a good conversation. Maybe
Stay close
a couple
to the
of years
weight.
ago. Yeah, you can't live like you were living before. I'll get out of shape. Gone are the days in the 90s when I boxed, or the 2000s when Ricky Hatton would balloon up. Fighters can't do that nowadays. You just can't. No one does it. You can't compete. So now she's more disciplined outside of the training camps, and that helps her be more of a physical force in the ring, because you're training close to your weight. You're not taking half your training camp making weight. You'd be able to work on stuff, get fit, get strong, get tactically right, rather than just sweating out all the pounds that you shouldn't have put on. And so she's more an athlete now than she's ever been before. And that's going to be a problem for Katie Taylor, because but Katie Taylor doesn't dine out on power. She doesn't dine out on strength.
Work rate.
It's work rate and finesse. Yeah. Work rate, finesse, and movement. And also, she's the queen of playing chicken in the ring. No, what are you on about? But in those early rounds, she's never massively dominant unless she can be. She bounces back and forth, waiting, and the rounds will be close, and she might just nick it. She'll want to win a round, but she has a good look at you. She won't make she won't make massive mistakes. She's waiting for you to make a mistake, and then as the rounds are going by, you can see the other fighter panic a little bit. She did against Sharapova, which was a quite close fight.
Yeah.
Just before Serrano.
Yeah.
It was quite a close fight. Early doors, nothing much was happening, and you could see Sharapova thinking, "Oh, this is close. I need to do more." And as soon as you made a mistake, Taylor goes bam, 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 got it, and then she gets you in the rhythm, and she got you. Those 3-punch combinations that she throws always starts with the right hand first, bam, 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 moves off, and then she has you where she wants you. Then she gets a rhythm. Then as the rounds go on, it looks like she's getting stronger. She just got a flow.
Where is Katie right now? I mean, you mentioned Sharapova, Tasha Jonas, Linardatou, Serrano, Delphine Bassoon. Those wars. She's had wars.
Yes.
Tough fights.
Yeah.
Where is she? Is she still exactly where she was a few years ago, or have we started to see a little slippage?
I think there might be a slippage. I was worried, that Serrano fight, and I was privileged to be ringside. I thought, you can't have another, that's miles on the clock, you just can't get back. You just can't. It was
impossible.
But I say it all the time, and I love it. That iconic moment in that last round where she's inches from the floor, a knee.
The knees buckle and she comes somehow to stay up.
If it touches the floor, she loses the fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that was just like the strength to bring yourself up, to lift your feet
in the final round.
Oh, mate, they're Rocky moments. They really are. And it was in such an absorbing fight. That fight had everything, because it was just a war, but technically beautiful to watch at the same time. It didn't lack for anything. Let's not talk about the atmosphere, how good that was, wow. But again, they put miles on you that you can't get back, and there's a worry that how many times can you dip to the well before there's nothing there? You look for that second gear, that third gear, and it's just not there anymore. We've seen it time and time again with fighters. This fight I don't think will be that.
Not as physically bruising?
No,
Serrano?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it'd be that sort of fight, because Serrano comes at you. Will force you to fight. So I think it'd be easier that way. But still, the energy that Chantelle Cameron will have, that she showed in the McCaskill fight, will cause Katie plenty of problems.
It's funny, the next question I'm going to ask you is, you mentioned MSG and the numbers, it was incredible. So I almost feel silly asking, is this her biggest fight? But because she is going back home and fighting for the first time, going up in weight, trying to be double undisputed, is this her biggest fight?
Maybe, because this might be her last fight. What a way to bow out. I don't think it will be. I think that all she knows is fighting. I think she will. Yeah. But I mean, there's always that, when you get to a level that she has now, and also the age and the longevity, there's always a fear that the next fight might be your last. So there's always a pressure that you want to go out on top. And do you want to lose at home? You've been begging for a fight home. Why am I home? Let's get home. Now you are. Now you have to produce. But I'd also say, with the crowd egging her on, and how deafening that's going to be on the 20th of May, if that doesn't give you an extra 10%, I don't know what will. Yeah. I think that's going to be the case. But forget about all that. When you get two of those in the ring, the movement of Katie Taylor, the in and out with the feet,
might just be enough.
The 3-punch combination she throws, the movement after, the little spin on the front foot, that's going to be a factor. If Chantelle Cameron can get behind a solid jab, but not be afraid to miss, she can't throw single shots and expect Katie Taylor not to bounce in out of distance. You're going to fall short. You can't throw 1-2s and not expect Katie to bounce out of distance, come back and land 3-punch combination. You have to commit, not in the same ilk, but like Delphine Bassoon did. Throw to make Katie move, and then throw to land. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
You throw to make her move back, then you nick the space, and then you commit. Now you're going to miss with the first few shots. You might take one back, but
because almost accept you're going to take one back.
Because once you make Katie move once, and then you do that again, she won't be able to pivot or move. She'll have to go back in straight lines. Then you have to do that. You have to force her back that way and hope that physical presence and size of yours has an effect.
Female boxing right now on such a wave, isn't it? There's been this debate for the last couple of years between Katie Taylor and Carissa Shields. A lot of people have it 1A, 1B. If Katie does become undisputed at another weight class, although Clarissa's done it herself, who for you is the pound for pound best female fighter on the planet?
I don't think it's a question you can answer. I don't, because there's no...
Is it that tough then?
I think it is, because one woman hasn't lost, and one woman has had some debatable wins.
Yeah.
Let's say with Katie Taylor,
Yeah.
but then Katie Taylor's probably boxed better opposition.
Yes.
Christian Shields has gone through the weights and unified everywhere, and
Undisputed in a couple as well.
when I once sold out the O2 and had the huge all women boxing card, the first one ever really, and then another one sold out the Madison Square Garden in one of the best atmospheres I've ever been in my life.
They're pushing each other, aren't they?
It's down to preference then in the end, isn't it?
So which one do you prefer then, Mr. Jones?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I prefer to...
I've always edged to Katie. I've always said I think Clarissa's the better boxer.
No,
but I've always edged
so.
to Katie. You don't think so?
I prefer to watch Katie Taylor.
Oh, interesting.
But I think that Clarissa Shields is probably the GOAT.
See, I think Clarissa's the better boxer, but I've always said Katie's the GOAT because Katie's fought the better opposition.
I think technically, for me, I think Katie's...
I'm not going to argue with the boxer.
No, that's just all preference and opinion. I think Katie's better, structurally, technically better. Clarissa does find a way. I think, and Savannah Marshall, she found a way, but Katie's boxed hard opposition, I feel. I do feel that. I do think that. And again, this fight's not going to be an easy fight for her. This stage of her career as well.
Tough one.
It's going to be hard moving up in weight against a woman in Chantelle Cameron who's on a real roll. Look at her confidence. She just beat Jessica McCaskill.
Yeah.
No, and not just beat her quite handily.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. It was
She
comfortable.
wants to go up to 147 and take on Jess for Jess's belts there as well. So
Yeah.
she's very confident. Does Taylor become undisputed May 20th?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's one last... How can we keep saying this? I think there's one last great fight in her. I do. And I just think everything points towards that. But boxing's full of cautionary tales. One fight too many. One great step too much for a great fighter. No, very few great fighters like Katie Taylor retire on their own means. Yeah. And this might be it. No, but I do think...
I love the jeopardy of the way you're selling this.
Yeah, it's great doing it.
This is what you want. This is what we want. We want that kind of like, we don't know how this is going to play out.
But I think the way she fights, the movement, and what Chantelle has shown us, which has been brilliant, but I think the way that, what she does now, and what Katie Taylor does, I think will probably help Katie Taylor squeeze home a decision. Yeah.
I love it. May 20th, we haven't got long to wait, do we? Undisputed versus Undisputed. Katie Taylor goes back home. Chantelle Cameron is going to be in the opposite corner. Can Katie Taylor become undisputed at 140 pounds? Barry Jones thinks yes, just. Should be a good one.